Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Gerry Hebert. Am I saying that right? Hebert?
Hebert. But when we go
Hebert.
out of
There
when
we
we go
go.
out of town, we pronounce it Hebert because they always spell our name with an A or my
Yeah.
name with an A. So
Yeah,
They don't
it's just that,
do T's over in Louisiana. So
not
yeah,
really.
it's that
unless the word
Cajun
begins with
French,
it, they don't say it.
He
that
is
Cajun
silent.
French influence. Yes. Anyhow, we're here with Gerry. We're here with Gerry from the Ragin Review podcast to talk a little bit about the game we have down in Lafayette this week. Thank you for joining us. Thanks a lot for being here, man. What's your take on the team this season? Your team?
No, first of all, thank you guys for having me. It's been a few years since we've caught up. I know we have a little bit of banter here and there, and it's always for fun. But no, look, this game's exciting for us. We're coming off a bye, had a huge win at home against Texas State a few weeks ago. Really a come from behind win against Texas State's. This isn't your mommy or daddy's Texas State team. They're actually really good this year, and so
It was David's second favorite team. So
They say that. They say that.
Oh.
Yeah.
well, I'm sure you're just as happy, right? Because the Panthers are playing well as well, so you get a double whammy there. But coming off the bye, it's a huge win for us, and really, our team is fairly young this year. We lost a lot of guys to the portal, graduation in the last 2 seasons when Billy went to Florida. Brought some guys with him. And then last year we had a few guys that left. And so we have a younger team that's trying to develop and find ways to win. And I thought this program and this team took a huge step forward after Texas State being down 9 in the second half. That was huge. But
yeah, I mean, looking at the scores as the season's gone along, when I saw you guys lost to ODU in what was it, like week 2 or 3 or something, week 2, I was like, oh man, Lafayette or Louisiana, they've lost their edge and everything, and this is gonna be the year we can totally take it to them. But since then, you put up 40 points against UAB, 40 points against Buffalo, close one against Minnesota, and then Texas State, like you said, is doing really well this year.
Well, and ODU is just like wild card. They're just like,
Yeah.
never know. Who the hell knows what's going on there? Who they're going to beat and who they're going to lose to this week? Who knows?
And let's be honest, like every team, including you guys, we're always going to have that one loss in the year where you're like, what happened? And for us, hopefully, right, there's a lot of football left to be played. Hopefully that loss for us was ODU. That game, it was a weird game. First of all, we scored 31 points, right? And our offense actually moved the ball well. We did a pretty good job on the ground. Our passing game was great. But defensively, ODU runs such a fast tempo. They scored 2 or 3 times off of us just because our guys weren't set.
Oh,
so
wow.
there was one play I remember in particular, and it basically summed up the game for us. They snapped the ball with 4 wideouts, and their guy on the far side runs a go route while our cornerback is still looking at the sideline for the play call. So by the time,
Coach Elliott, if you're listening,
by the time,
Elliott,
no. but while our cornerback basically turns back around, their receiver is 10 yards up the field, and they just throw a go route. And so it was just a little bit of undisciplined defensively for us that cost them that game. I mean, look, I still think if we played them today, we would probably win. They got the best of us, and they took us for granted. I mean, we took that for granted. They beat us fair and square. So that was kind of one of those games where you look back and you're like, why? How did we lose that? But since then, we've really turned the tide. I think you have a lot of younger guys starting to develop and really find ways to just win and find ways to compete. Coach Desermo, he's in his second year. Coach, he was an assistant coach under Coach Mark Hudspeth, and then he was an assistant under Billy Napier. And so he was offered the job to continue on what Billy started. And he's kind of done a good job with that, with the process. Billy Napier kind of implemented that Nick Saban process. Every little thing counts. Every little detail counts. And so Dez is trying to kind of continue that. And he was also a former quarterback for Louisiana as well. He was the quarterback there when I was a student. So he has a lot of ties to the area. He's from New Iberia, which is like 15, 20 minutes down the road. Louisiana native through and through. And so he understands the culture here. He understands the passion for this program. He has the passion for this program, and he's really trying to build a team to where you can develop guys. It's not just going in the portal and trying to take 20 guys from the portal and try to build them. He actually recruits and then he's able to fill in those gaps whenever he needs certain key players, and he'll go get one or two from the portal. But for the most part, he tries to develop them as a freshman. And so you're starting to see that young talent step up. But look, this week, make no mistake about it, it is our homecoming. And there's a lot of excitement going on because this game between our two schools will be on ESPNU, nationally televised. But just like Texas State, you guys have taken it up. Y'all have taken it up a notch, and Georgia State is a really, really good football team. Coach Elliott, you can find. I think it's safe to say, and I guess you guys would agree with this. I think we're starting to see Coach Elliott's system really, really evolve this year. And you have a lot of senior talent. I've noticed your quarterback, your running back. I watched that game against Marshall last week. Let me tell you, man, that's the Georgia State that we all knew. Like, okay, this is the team with the potential. And so, yes, we got to buy, but we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's because I find a lot of similarities between Georgia State and Texas State. You guys have a good spread offense. You're very physical at the line of scrimmage. You've got good skill players. And, we're going to have to show up and play in spite of the fact that we're at home. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a great matchup. And also, I love the fact that the Sun Belt is actually it's a respectable conference now. When Georgia State wins, when Louisiana wins, unless we're playing one another, it's a good thing for the conference. And right. It's great to see the conference get better across the board.
I think we're the top G5 conference right now. So
easily top 5. Yeah. I think that one of the things that got lost on Georgia State's horrible season last year was, I think it was 4 or 5 of our losses were all decided in the fourth quarter in less than one score. Sure. And Coach Elliott attributed that to the guys just not being, running out of gas, not having enough fuel in the fire or whatever. And that's why we brought in the new strength and conditioning coach, Iron Mike, who is as energetic as they come. And I think
is energetic the word? All right.
That's a good word for him. Yeah.
Coached up.
Crazy
coached up.
One,
he snorts coke and steroids every single morning before he starts working. But no, I think that he's gotten the players up to the level of energy that Coach Elliott is. You see Coach Elliott on the sidelines. I mean, he's the most active person. You put his little Apple Watch on there. He's burning 15,000 calories during a game.
Oh yeah,
probably losing a couple of liters of water at the same time. So Iron Mike's got the guys up built for that. And I just also want to say, I'll let the other guys ask a question, but I want to say, your new head coach after Billy Napier left literally was born to be a Cajun head.
You muted.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Maybe your mic disconnected?
Yeah, I think so.
It's still muted, man. Can't you see the mic?
I saw the mic and then it just went away, and I
think StreamYard's being janky right now.
We were giving it compliments before we came on. Yeah. No, what I was trying to say was the new head coach just was born to be a Cajun head coach with that last name, Desmarais. Get the EAUX there at the end of it. He can't coach anywhere else. He's only
you can coach at LSU or Tulane or
in that state,
Monroe.
No, technically no, because if Baton Rouge and New Orleans, and we're very, very strict about that, Baton Rouge and New Orleans are technically not part of Acadiana, believe it or not. Neither is Monroe. So only us, and maybe McNeese. McNeese is right on that edge. So we're the only ones who can have them. But it's funny you say that.
The only ones that think that.
To be fair, we don't know we don't know where any of the schools are.
Well, look, we're as Cajuns, we're a little hard-headed when it comes to we have a lot of pride in our culture. I'll say that. And originally, I'm from New Orleans, but I'm also an Hebert. My dad grew up right out about 30 minutes southeast of Lafayette. So I could kind of say that, I guess. But it's funny, Coach Des, his last name is pronounced 2 separate ways within the same family. So some people, the way he pronounces it is Desarmo. The way a lot of people pronounce it is Desarmo. So it's either Desimo or Desarmo, and people within his family pronounce it differently as well. So it's It's a Cajun thing. I don't know. Like there's so many different.
You don't even know how to say your name.
Whatever. How do your
what was the second one? What was the second? How do you say the second one?
Desremo.
Yeah, that sounds like a G.I. Joe villain. I like it.
Does a little
Desremo, like Destro and Desremo. Yeah, I like that.
Or Desarmo.
Desarmo. Or like the evil Superman, the Bizarro, Desmaro. Yeah, I like that.
Somebody had a sign. So funny thing. That's a funny story. So when he played quarterback, he was here from 2005 to 2008. He was a starting quarterback, and he was a good option quarterback. Like his read option was just, and especially with the running back that we had, the running back that played with him is actually getting inducted into the UL Hall of Fame this weekend. And so Mike they would run the zone read to perfection. And I want to say both guys got like 1,000 yards apiece rushing every year that they played behind center. And somebody had a sign. I remember this was back in like 2008 when Mike was a senior, and it said, "It's not delivery, it's Desarmo." And
that's what I was thinking when you said his name. Giorno. Yeah.
So
that's clever. I mean, I guess there are some actual smart people down there in Lafayette.
A little bit.
I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming at some point.
Pizza and G.I. Joe. I don't know.
Yeah. Tim, you got a question?
Yeah, looks like one of your quarterbacks, Woolridge, he went out in the third game, and you had Chris come in and just take the helm and run with it. Is Woolridge going to be out the entire season? Like, how are you guys going to handle that if he gets healthy? You're going to let him back in?
Well, here's the thing. Everybody knew even last season when Zion was signed that he was going to be the future.
Okay.
Ben. He was a quarterback that was a transfer from Fresno State. Believe it or not, I want to say he played behind Jake Ladner, the quarterback that is now the third string for the Saints. And I want to say when Jake got the job as a starting quarterback, that's when Ben transferred to Louisiana, or it was around that time. So Ben is a different style quarterback than Zion. Ben is more of a West Coast pocket passer. Zion is a straight up dual threat.
I know.
And when Ben went down against UAB, it was the first drive he went down. The offense just picked up speed when Zion came in because of Zion's ability. It was really tough to see Ben go down because he had put so much. He actually tore his ACL last year, and probably around the 8th or 9th game, tore his ACL. And basically his entire offseason, I mean, he was ahead of schedule coming back. And then he goes down again and hurts. I don't know if it was a foot injury or an ankle injury against UAB. But then Zion comes in against UAB and then breaks an 80-yard touchdown run. He has 2 touchdown passes. He rushes, I think, for like over 100 yards. And before you know it, he became everything that everybody expected him to be. Plus, going into the season, he was the only quarterback that took reps in the spring during all of spring football because Ben was recovering from his ACL injury, and our other quarterback, who was also a starter, Chandler Fields, had appendicitis. So Zion had already trained during the spring. In the spring game, he took every rep, every snap, and so he was pretty much ready to go. Now, granted, he is a redshirt freshman. He played 1 or 2 games last year, got some reps, but so far, what we've seen with Zion, it's everything that, as a fan, we expected. But it's just great to see it in person because of the ability he brings. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you guys. With everything with the portal,
he's transferring.
Well, no, I'm gonna knock on wood right now. But if we could get a
better
year,
not be too good,
I mean, that's the thing. That it's scary, right? I mean, and look, you guys deal with it too now. I mean, it's a bummer because of NIL. When you have guys that stand out for you, it's scary because look, we've got LSU right to the east. We've got Texas A&M and Texas to the west. We've got Houston to the west. Tulane is in, 2 hours away. I mean, those schools, they see that, I mean, don't be surprised if they start sending them messages secretly. Hey, come check us out.
Well, we know how it happens. We've had it happen a couple times now.
Y'all got some schools right by y'all too that do the same thing. So
don't you have to be
right in your backyard.
We're watching Jamari Thrash every weekend, just catching balls all over the place up in Louisville.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zion, check your Cash App, right?
No. So but he's the real deal. No,
he is. He looks like it.
We're very happy that he's been able to perform as a freshman the way he has so far.
Side note question: we're talking about this portal stuff when guys leave. A lot of people, a lot of Georgia State fans, whenever someone leaves from the portal, they still cheer they still cheer for Jamari Thrash over there, or even though Coastal is in the division, they still cheer for Sam Pickney, Jordan Straken in South Carolina, whatever. I have a hard time with that. How does the Louisiana fan base handle those players that have turned their back on you and gone somewhere else? Do you see it that way, or are they Cajuns for life for you guys? How do you take it?
Zion transfers to LSU. What happens?
Well, we have a receiver, Kyron Lacey. They're one of their main receivers left us 2 years ago. He actually scored a touchdown against you guys, I believe, in 2020. He's playing for him. So, no, we're not happy about that at all. But no, in all seriousness, it's just the way of college football today, man. And some players, I get it, right? Some players may need the money, but then others just want a better opportunity. And it's what's frustrating is you look at schools like Georgia State and Louisiana where we develop these guys for a couple of years and then they just get up and leave. And those other schools don't have to develop them. They get to enjoy them more because of the fact that they didn't have to take that time. We did, right?
Yeah.
So, I hate it when that happens. And look, we've lost quite a few guys to the portal the last few years. But it's not always bright on the other side either. As a fan, it's hard to see like one of our guys who could have been contributing to us play at other schools. I mean, I don't like it. I think it's one of those things where, look, if you want to leave, I get it if you have certain situations, but if you're just going to go because you're chasing money, then go. Like we got other players that want to play here and could probably put in as much effort as you. So it's hard. It's a bummer, but it's just one of those things I guess we just have to accept because that's what college football is today. Unfortunately, it's almost become free agency in many ways.
It is.
Yeah. It's
we're like
the new normal.
We're like the G League for the NBA, right?
Where it's like AAA, right? It's like AAA baseball.
AAA baseball.
They go off and go play for bigger teams. And it's tough because, look, I know, and I'll actually ask you guys this if you don't mind, but like Georgia State has money. You guys are in Atlanta. I'm sure you got some rich alumni. So we just created an NIL collective. We actually had the president of the NIL collective on our podcast last week. Great guy, John Aiken. Awesome. He's a rock star. He's amazing. How has that been for Georgia State as far as your alumni base, your donors? Have they kind of stepped up with the NIL collective fully well knowing that you have schools in the backyard trying to poach players?
So we just got our collective started up. What was it, guys? 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's not been long. And we had,
is this season after like the first or second game?
Yeah, and we had the Mike Holmes, who's running the whole thing, and Gabe, a former player running it. Mike was director of communications for Georgia State for a number of years, and then Gabe was a former player, now an attorney in Atlanta. So they've taken over that, and I don't know the inner workings, so I don't know what they're doing behind doors. I know that they've gotten some things going on, but I think the Atlanta or the Georgia State fan base is so passively a fan base about Georgia State. They don't understand what the difference is in donating to the athletics program and the NIL and what how that really is two separate different things. But they'll get there. We're getting there. I think the education's coming out. We're doing our part to support them. We don't really have the fans we have are incredibly passionate. We just don't have nearly enough of them. So it's not there for us yet. In being in Atlanta, there's so many other things to do on a weekend. The entire state's Georgia fans, and the ones that are not are, Tech or wherever they went to school and moved to Atlanta for a job. So it's getting there. I'm glad we have the collective. Hopefully it does some work for us, but it's going to be a long, hard road for us, guys.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a lot more success because we're in Atlanta and there are so many businesses here and all that stuff. They're going to have a lot more success. They're going to have less success from donations, but more connecting the dots and getting players connected with maybe some of these sponsors and things like that, because there's just a whole boatload of them here. And I know that that's one of the ways that they're working on doing this. So, they're taking donations and they're going to work out whatever they work out with that. But I think the bread and butter of our collective is going to be connecting players with businesses.
Yeah. And I think from like a perspective of like fans at your school, I think state of Georgia, all the G5 programs, you got a lot of people that if Georgia has a big game, they're watching that game. Your diehard fans.
We get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in college, I went to school back in the '90s, and no one wore Georgia State stuff. Like you would see other schools, you'd see Georgia, you'd see Tech, you'd see UNC, you'd see something like that. But I never saw anybody like I didn't. I don't think I bought any of my own Georgia State merch until like my last couple of years when I was there, and I felt like I just needed to have something because I went to school there because it just wasn't a thing. But now on campus and around town, you'll see Georgia State stuff everywhere, and I have learned. If I see somebody wearing a Panther shirt in Kroger, I probably shouldn't just yell in their face, "Go State, go Panthers," because they get scared. They honestly get scared.
Who's this crazy person?
This fat, hairy guy's yelling words in my face.
It's funny because like it's kind of, I'm not going to say been the opposite for us, but back like when my dad came to school, back when it was called USL, this was back in like the late 60s, early 70s. Lafayette was all about the Cajuns. And today it's still kind of there and it's been there, but for a short while, probably in the 90s, when we had administrators on our main campus, when they didn't emphasize athletics as important as it should be, we kind of lost about a 10-year gap of fans that we could have
all about that
built.
Yeah. We're going through that right now. We're going through that right now.
Well, so luckily for us, the last 12 or 13 years have been better because our football program has really taken off with success. But, my age group, when I grew up, we don't really have as many because that was the time when we just didn't put forth that effort. And this was around a time when conference realignment was happening, Conference USA was created, and we actually had a chance to go into Conference USA in the early 90s, and our president said no. He was all about academics. He didn't care about athletics. I'll give you a story. So
turns out that was a a good idea, though.
Yeah, apparently.
Well,
not to go.
But on the other hand, right. And look, we can laugh all day about that situation. But then if we would have joined back in the 90s, could we have been where Louisville is? Could we have been where some of these schools who moved up to maybe the ACC could have been if we would have invested back then? I don't know. But, so in 1996, we host Texas A&M at Cajun Field. We have Jake Delhomme as the quarterback. Brandon Stokely's a wide receiver. I mean, we had some guys on that team that ended up playing in the NFL, but I mean, A&M had some talent as well. A lot of those guys played in the league, and we beat them. It was considered the biggest win in school history. We had 40,000 people, and it's one of those stories. If you live in Lafayette, it's a legend, right? I know where I was the night we beat Texas A&M. I was actually 7 years old, sitting on my dad's lap, watching us win that game, and we made the drive from New Orleans for it. And wow, after that win, right? You would think, okay, the administration is going to step in and say this could be something huge for us. This could be something we could build on. They did the complete opposite. You know what they did? Oh, you beat A&M with what we've given you, so we're going to give you less because if you could beat A&M with this, then you can do anything. Well,
you're too good.
You're too good. That turned into a 10-year hiatus of just failure. And so finally, the administration finally stepped up around 2007, 2008 and started giving us resources. We built our indoor facility, and then Mark Hudspeth was hired in 2010, 2011. We started winning. We started building more facilities and enhancing our facilities. And before you know it, we've been able to create success. But then, again, if we would have done this 30 years prior, where would you be? Right, exactly. So
we talk about the same thing. We were in a conference with UCF for a number of years, and then they started football. If we would have started football when UCF did, if we would have done the same things that they did, would we be in the Big 12 right now, or at least in those kind of conversations? So yeah, we feel the same way. We're in the same position that we took a lot longer to get started.
So, but to your credit, to Georgia State's credit, and I'll always tip my hat off to you guys for this. The fact that you were able to expedite the process when you brought football back, what was it, 2010, right?
Yeah.
Was it 2010, 2011? And within 3 years, you're playing in the Sun Belt and competing. I mean, that's hard to do. I mean, that's mad props to be able to do that.
We went 0-12 that season.
Competing is a little rough.
But still.
This year we're doing it.
We did it.
But even then, to come back and just still move up to the FBS level that quickly and create some success. Now, it took you a little bit longer, I'm sure, than you would have liked, but within 6 or 7 years, you're in a bowl game.
Yeah.
I mean, not many programs can brag about that. I mean, Charlotte's trying it, and we see how that's turning out.
Well, we always, I mean, I think we've not gone to a bowl game for 1 year, and we're like Monroe went to their first bowl game like last year or something, or the year before, or has never been. I don't remember. But
Yeah,
it seems like
Monroe-
a stupid stat that Monroe's been playing for however long, and they've been to like one bowl game.
So they joined the FBS so they actually have a national championship at the FCS level in '87, I believe.
It means nothing to us.
Yeah.
They joined in '94, but they've only been to one bowl game since joining in '94. So yeah,
I think we've missed
that's
1
what
year
it.
since we've been FBS.
It just seems
Since we've been eligible.
it just seems almost impossible that it's been.
Yeah, it's like
been
they
this
let
long.
everybody in. How did you not make
Well,
it?
back then there was not nearly as many bowl games.
That's
We've missed one.
That's
That
true. We got,
missed,
but they still aren't getting let in. So
we've
they're
missed
just not
2
winning.
years. We've missed
Yeah.
2 years under Elliott. We've missed 2 years under Elliott. He got the bowl the first season, and then we went 2-10 the following season.
Yeah, but think of it like this: within a decade of your football program being created, you go beat Tennessee. Like, how many schools can say that, right? I mean, it took us. I can't remember the last. Well, I can't remember the last time we beat the SEC team. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, it's been a while.
Jerry, I tell you what, man, if we lose this game, I'm just going to have you back on just to make me feel good about it because you're
making it feel fantastic.
I try. Look, I'll say this. I try. Look, I'm a huge college football nerd, so I love talking about history. I always enjoy talking about, the teams that we play, their history.
Yeah.
Like, again, you guys have been around for, your football program's been around for 12, 13 years. And, you have accomplished a lot as an outsider looking in. I mean, we still want to beat you on Saturday, but
of course,
the way
we've never beaten you, so it's looking
Right.
good.
right.
that actually leads into what my next question was going to be. How does Lafayette win, or how does Louisiana win this game? Like what are they going to do? I know that it looks like you guys are very much a rushing team, still good at passing the ball, but like what it's going to happen how's the ball going to bounce that you guys win this game? I'm not saying that we're favored, just like, but what is the strategy?
It's a fair question.
Cajun football. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's very similar to what we saw with Texas State. Georgia State, you guys run that spread offense. You got a lot of good skilled players. Basically, number one, we got to keep you off the field. We got to slow your tempo down. I think Georgia State has they average 28 minutes of time of possession, which means you score quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Slow down the game. We're going to have to make you earn your scores. Basically, we're going to have to make you sustain drives, throw the tempo off, and enforce turnovers. I also think that for us, we've actually fumbled the ball inside the red zone like 4 times or 3 times already.
Wow.
And so we actually have to not do that and score. And also we're going to have to, if you do happen to score, we're going to have to keep our tempo up with you because we're very similar in that way offensively.
Well, I don't know if you've been watching. We're going to score. That's not going to be the problem.
Texas State thought the same thing, man.
Well, if they're watching any Troy tape, they'll know how to keep us from scoring.
That was what I was going to say. Like, we're definitely
Turnovers.
going to, I hope our coaching staff looked at that tape because that was the kind of one game where I'm like, okay, this could be Georgia State's coming out party. And then I look at the score and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Because you were supposed to help us out here in the West, right? You beat Troy, that helps us out, and you let us down, guys. You let us down.
We had one too many turnovers for that game. Like,
right?
We're gonna do the exact opposite. We're gonna lose to Troy, and then we're gonna beat you on Saturday. So we're gonna give you no help at all in the West.
We're gonna help Troy State.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Y'all are too kind. But
they're next door neighbors to us. We gotta be kind to the little kid.
Absolutely. But in all honesty, I think tempo is going to be huge for both teams. I think turnovers are going to be huge. Anytime you play teams that can score points, the last thing you want to do is turn the ball over. That happened to us against Minnesota. And Minnesota, they're the complete opposite. They hold on to the ball and they do nothing but run at you. And it's that typical Big Ten offense where they just kill you in time of possession. The difference is with Georgia State is you guys can capitalize and score. So, limiting turnovers, keeping up with the tempo, trying to make your offense earn scores and not necessarily just go, 2-play drives. And really it's about field position as well. I think field position is going to be huge in this game. So yeah, I think this game's going to be a barn burner. Personally, I think it's going to be pretty high scoring on both sides. I'm curious to see, and this actually happened last game where when we played in 21, where you guys were up, I think
a lot of points, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was looking good.
Yeah, we're up 2 scores, and we just kind of slowed your offense down, made a few, I think 1 or 2 key turnovers, and then we just beat you on the ground. Well, I don't think that's going to work this time around. I think our offense is built to be more of an up tempo, very similar to what you guys run. We're going to have to score, and we're going to have to score fast, I think, to win this game.
Can you just spot us a win? You know, I mean,
no. Look, you're 5-1. You got the better record than us. Remember that. You're 5-1. We're 4-2. So you should be giving us a win to share, right? It's ironic. What's ironic about this game is I watched the game against Marshall last week, and I saw the way you moved the ball on the ground. Mm-hmm. You have a running back that is really, really good.
Oh yeah.
And that is where I think our defense, to me, we're going to have to probably put some guys in the box to stop him and hope that Granger doesn't run. I know Granger likes to run some of those play actions out the shotgun.
Yep.
Our secondary is going to have to be on their toes to stop that. And
Granger's been accurate as crap this season. He's like not overthrowing balls or underthrowing balls. He's like getting it right where it needs to be.
That Marshall game could have been a much bigger a blowout because we had our star receiver Robert Lewis dropped some very easy balls right in his numbers. That would have been.
There were a couple plays where I was like, is Granger like doing some last year stuff? But he had a really good game. He had a really good game, but like at least 1 or 2 of those misses, I was like, whoa, that was like way misthrown. Like what was that? But
go ahead.
Somebody.
He muted.
Oh, he muted. All right, then you go, Ryan. You were talking.
No, you're good. I was done.
Okay, there. Yeah, I just want to point out that in this game, this matchup against Louisiana, we're 0-6, but 4 of those 6 games are scored by less than 4 points.
Yes,
and on top of that, I think it was 2020. You guys were coming off of a win against Iowa State. Ranked number 19 in the nation, and that game goes to overtime, and we lose by a field goal. So, despite what the record is, this has always been a close game for the most part. I mean, and the two times it was not 4 points or less were 2 touchdowns, and that was our 0-12 season for introductory season in the Sun Belt, and then our weird 2-10 season back in 2018. Yeah. So outside of us just our crap in the bed for the entire season, this has always been a close series. And honestly, it's not so much in football, but I think it's bled over to football. The 3 of us consider you guys one of our rivals. I don't know if it's
there's like a spark of rivalry, and it's come out of basketball
because
but we see potential in the football rivalry as well, and we need rivals, right? We're like still a baby, so we're like looking, and I'm like, where are they happening? And you don't want to force those kind of things. They're gonna organically get created, and I'm like, oh, Louisiana looks a little, like that might be.
Bob Martin still sucks, and
Bob Martin still sucks. They agree. I think they probably agree.
Well, I gotta say, sorry, but we just signed him to a 4-year extension.
I can say sorry to you as well.
You're stuck with him, but look, I mean, he got the job done.
You're stuck with him, not us.
He got. I mean, let's be honest. He's gotten the best of you guys over the last couple of years. We went to the dance this year, so I'll take it.
But this year, we're not going to talk about this past year of Georgia State basketball.
What happened, man? Honestly, you got the new arena. You got the nice.
I think our last coach just didn't have a lot to give back, and we lost a lot too. So
we lost our playmakers from the prior season under Coach Lanier, and then a new head coach does new head coach things, and I give him a lot of credit. He came in to before the last game of the season. He came down to there's a little wine and dine little area in the new convocation, we call it the box, and he came down there and he said to the all the alumni, all the fans, all the people, the big donors down there, he's like, I promise you this will never happen again. Like this will not happen again. We are going to be a better team going forward. And he's put a bunch of guys in there. We got a whole new staff. You're not going to see a lot of same guys as last season, and I feel like it's going to be a turn. Not calling any kind of conference championship this season or anything like that, but really nowhere else to go but up, and I definitely think we're going to see that this season in basketball. So
he's had a complete turnover in players, and it's only his second year, so he's gonna this is his team now.
This is all new team.
This is his team. It's no other coaches at this point. So now we're really going to be able to see kind of more about what's happening, and still I think you give a coach at least 3 years to like figure out what's happening at the school and like build up their own culture and do all that stuff. And so like I think 3 years is pretty good. So I looked at that first season. I was like, he's feeling it out. It didn't quite work out. If he can make the right adjustments, then he's doing the right thing.
I mean, you built a palace. You built a palace.
Nice.
I mean, how in the world did you finish last? I mean, all of us. Well, don't get me wrong. We were all.
I can tell you how. We didn't win a road game.
No,
we didn't win a single road game.
We're only allowed one nice thing a year, and that was it. We can't have wins. We traded.
Because we were all like, kind of like, ha ha, you know, funny. But then at the same time, we're like, how? You know, you built this beautiful arena, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, we love the Cajun Dome, but at the same time, you built an arena that fit, number one, it fits the capacity for what you need, and then also it's state of the art and it's beautiful. So, you know, when we're looking, it's Georgia State's in dead last. We're like, how do you let that happen? You know, so look, we're gonna find out this year.
You know, every now and again.
This year, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll see how it goes.
You know, Bama's not that good this year either. You know, I'm just saying, it happens.
We want Bama.
I don't think they'll finish dead last in the SEC, but I get
hey,
yeah,
maybe. Who knows?
So another question for you here, kind of unrelated to football, but we got some fans we know that are going down to Lafayette for this game. What are the must-sees, must-dos, the must-game day experiences that the fans should do when they're down there?
Plus food.
Oh man, there's so many places to go for food. Of course, the tourist trap here is Préjean's, which is really good. Get some Préjean's. Depends on what day they come into. So like, there's places in downtown Lafayette that serve, you know, good plate lunches, good food. There's Moncus Park, where there's a beautiful park. We go kind of enjoy the scenery. It's going to be beautiful weather. And again, it's our homecoming this week, so we'll have a homecoming parade that goes through Cajun Field at 3:00. My wife and I and our daughter will be there. You know, they have all the fraternities and sororities that have their floats. If they want to listen to some good Zydeco music, we always have a live band by the big oak tree in the entrance. So if they really want a good Cajun experience on game day, just hang out by Cajun Field. Like I said, there's quite a few restaurants around here where they can get some good solid Cajun food. There's small towns outside of here like Brobridge where there's some good Cajun restaurants. The beauty of the Cajun culture down here is we basically sell ourselves, like what we do and the way we live. I mean, I remember 2 weeks ago when the temperatures dropped. I mean, it was, I don't know about you guys in Atlanta, but here it was one of the hottest summers we've ever had. And when the temperature dropped to about the mid 70s, I think everybody in Lafayette had a bowl of gumbo for dinner just to enjoy the cold weather. So there's definitely a lot of places where they can go get some gumbo. I don't think we're in crawfish season right now, but you can probably get some good local food. And like I said, you know, maybe Friday night, if they're in town, they can go check out downtown Lafayette. They can go check out Blue Moon Saloon, which probably has some live music there. A lot of local things to do around here, especially this time of year with this fall weather.
Well, I'll tell you what, the reason I want to go to a game there, I really don't care to drive that far or travel that much, but the food. What I want to do though is go tailgate, you know, just walk around the tailgates and just see what people will give me.
You know, it's funny. You know, there's other places,
you know, some homemade nice stuff, you know.
You know, it's crazy. At other places, if you go anywhere around the country, I don't know, you know, anywhere else. And I'm sure, I don't think Atlanta's like this, but like you go to some places and if you go ask for food, these people, if you're at a tailgate, right, and you just go ask random people, can I have your food? They might look at you like you're crazy. Like,
well, you don't just do that. You gotta.
But here's the thing.
You gotta worm your way in, you know.
But that's the difference here in Acadiana. Like they'll not only like look at you and offer you food, they'll invite you in if they see you wearing Georgia State gear and be like, come try our food. And if you say no, they'll get insulted. And they'll be like, man, you don't like my food? You don't like my cooking?
No,
like,
I want to eat that. That's my thing. That's why I might not even go into the game. I'll just keep eating everybody's food.
Hey, look, we are very open to letting outsiders, if you will, try our delicious cuisine. So we're definitely that's the thing about over here in Cajun country. We want you to have a good time and enjoy our culture. So to anybody coming down to Lafayette, like I said, come check out the homecoming parade, go listen to some good music, go check out the park down here, enjoy this nice weather. South Louisiana this time of year is beautiful. And you know, we have a lot of Halloween decorations out. You know, we take our Halloween seriously down here. So you'll probably run into a few places like that. And of course the food. you're not going to go wrong with the food you choose down here.
You may have sold Ryan on actually booking a flight tonight to get down there.
Hey,
no.
there's a straight flight on Delta. Just saying, straight shot to Lafayette, 1 hour. I've done it.
I don't have my kids this weekend, so
dude, it's Atlanta. We have a direct flight to wherever we want to go in the world.
Everywhere. That is true. I got to tell you. So I actually, I remember that because we usually fly out of New Orleans wherever we go. But for my wife and I, when we had our honeymoon, we decided to fly out of Lafayette, and that straight shot to Atlanta, man, it was so easy. Such a easy hop, skip, and a jump.
You honeymooned in Atlanta?
No, we did not. But we stopped in Atlanta. See, our Lafayette Airport doesn't have that luxury like Atlanta does, where you can just go anywhere in the world. We have to
go through Atlanta to get anywhere.
Yeah, we have to go through Atlanta with the rest of the the air traffic in America. I think. Aren't y'all the busiest airport in the world, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes,
we are.
And it's
a number of people.
It's a loaded statement. It's the busiest airport because any city anywhere near our size has more than one airport, and the city of Atlanta owns the airport and refuses to open up a second one because then we lose the moniker.
You will all fly here, and you will like it.
No, it's because they got that cash cow. They sell those lucrative contracts for cash under the table. That's neither here nor there. That's the politician thing coming out.
Dude,
sorry,
there's just politics coming out right there. There's just politics coming out. So
I'm just spitting facts.
As libertarians are known to do. All right, guys, you guys any more questions for Gerry? We kept him a lot longer than I told him. So
I've enjoyed it. And this has been fun.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoy talking with you. Let's get you back on for basketball season and talk about that a little bit. We play up there in February, and there's no return trip, so it's a little one-sided there.
I'm curious. I don't have the date in front of me. Do you know when that is?
February 7th.
Oh, it's a week before Mardi Gras. It's a week before Mardi Gras. I think we may have some. I think we have a parade rolling that night in Lafayette. So yes, if anybody's coming down,
there you
stuff
go.
to do in Lafayette. We got a Mardi Gras parade that rolls into Cajun Field's parking lot, so you can just walk across the street, get the full Mardi Gras experience.
Big question will be: where will be food for Ryan?
There's always food. There's always food.
All right.
They might have some food trucks and everything out there.
This is the thing. I always wanted to go to Louisiana because I really enjoy that food a lot. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be so great. And then I went to New Orleans and I was like, please, never again. Ever. ever.
It's crazy. Like it's funny because for us, we're so accustomed to the food that like when everybody else talks about our food, for us it's just what we eat, But we're very happy to share. So we'd love for you guys to come down and get that good South Louisiana hospitality. We always welcome people to check out our culture. And Ryan, if you do decide to show up this weekend, I have a spot for you at the homecoming parade.
Wow.
We won't get people to beam beads at you too hard, but we'll give you the
hard, right?
He will show the boobs. He will show the boobs, though. He'll definitely do that.
I got him to show him,
I'm bringing my kid out there, man. Be very careful with that.
Yeah, he'll rival the coach from the Water Boy with the nipple piercings and the.
Come
on now.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
All right. Gerry, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. And everyone go check out Ragin Review and listen to them and then comment about how they're wrong about how Cajuns are going to win this game. So,
well, look, we look forward to it. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's always been a pleasure, and we'll return the favor and have you guys on soon. And looking forward to this Saturday. Should be a great matchup, and may the best team win. And hopefully, it's the Cajuns.
There you go. All right, take care, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.